Hi dear students, this is Dr. Ghansham Chavan. Today I welcome you in my YouTube channel. In the session of Human Anatomy and Physiology, we will discuss the topic blood. This is the first topic on blood. What is blood? Blood is nothing but the cellular connective tissue in which we are having the various elements which are available into our blood. So in today's lecture, we will especially focus on the composition of the blood. Now, if you will see blood is available in all over the body parts. Now, what is the hematology? Hematology is nothing but the branch which deals with the disorders of blood. And there are various terms, for example, pancytopenia or anemia or various disorders of this blood, for example, anemia or thalassemia or sickle cell anemia. If you will see blood is nothing but the liquid connective tissue and it is having the extracellular matrix. In the interstitial fluid, the that bathes body cells and is constantly renewed by the blood. And blood is having the major function of transportation of oxygen. So through all over the body, it the oxygen reaches only with the help of blood, because blood is exchanging that oxygen with the help of these RBCs, hemoglobin, and that hemoglobin is going to be exchanged that carbon dioxide with oxygen in alveolar cells with the help of the lungs. And it also do the various functions of transportation of vital elements like hormones, because hormones are directly released into the blood and they will go into your respective place. Blood is occupied almost 5 to 6 liters in case of males and 4 to 5 liters in case of females. The blood is having various functions. For example, homeostasis, it is going to maintain our temperature. Also, if you will see, blood is also having the maintenance of pH, because our pH is going to maintain near about 4.35 to 4.45. Blood are having various characteristics. It is having some osmolarity. It is having osmolarity of near about 275 to 295 milliosmol per liter. So like that, various elements are there in the blood that we should know. If you see the components, especially it contains the form elements and the non-form elements. In case of form elements, it is having RBC, WBC, platelets. In case of non-form elements, it is having plasma. Now, contents. In the blood, it is a wide chapter. Out of them, we will discuss today only first chapter. In this whole content, we will discuss introduction, composition of blood, functions of blood, various functions which it is having, plasma proteins, its origin, forms of plasma protein, variation in plasma protein concentration, functions of plasma proteins, hemoglobin, its structure, normal values and functions, synthesis of hemoglobin, catabolism of hemoglobin, varieties, erythrocytes or RBC, general characteristics, variation in size, shape and structures of RBC, RBC indices, erythropoiesis, anemias, pernicious anemia, folic acid deficiency anemia, iron deficiency anemia, leukocytes, WBC, general characteristics, structures, functions and variations, leukopoiesis, platelets, thrombocytes, general characteristics, counts and variations, thrombopoiesis, megakaryocytes, functions, coagulations of blood and bleeding disorders, anticoagulant mechanism, bleeding disorders, blood groups, classical ABO blood groups, Ratius blood group, uses of blood grouping tests, significance of blood groups. Now we will start from our today's topic, that is composition. on which we will give the maximum stress. So the human vascular system consists of approximately 7,000 miles of blood vessels, and in all of the blood vessels the blood is going through that, it is flowing through our body, and it reaches to each and every part of our body. And suppose to any part if it not going to be reached, so that part may suffer from the condition like gangrene. Gangrene is a condition where the blood supply is not going to be reached, so in that condition we have to cut that part. So it may occur to your extremities like fingers, toes, at that place. Blood vessels along with the heart are responsible for the circulation of blood throughout the body, means from the toe towards your head. So in all over the body it reaches, it go fast. So the heart is doing the pumping work of your blood, means whatever the impure blood is there, means deoxygenated blood is there, that blood can be collected from the various veins by inferior vena cava, by superior vena cava, by coronary sinus. So it go into your heart, and through the heart it go into your lungs for purification, and in the lungs it do the function of purification, means oxygenation occurs with the help of alveoli cells, and that CO2 will go into the environment, and from the environment that oxygen will go towards your alveoli cells, and your hemoglobin will reach with the oxygen, means your RBC will be rich with the oxygen, and that RBC will be go all over the body parts, and it will go to your respective organs, respective cells where it requires the oxygen, because our each and every body parts, each and every function of our body, either it may be metabolic function, it may be the brain function of nerves, it may be function of muscles, it may be functions of bones, it may be functions of endocrine system, it may be functions of respiration, it may be function of kidney, our genita, our any glands of GIT, whatever it may be, everywhere we require oxygen. So the blood is doing the major function of transportation of oxygen or exchange of gases. Now it maintains the several functions in the body. Now for example, it maintains our body temperature. What is the temperature of our body? Temperature is of our body is 37 degrees Celsius, whereas our blood temperature is 38 degrees Celsius. It is 1 degree higher than our mucosa of mouth or our rectal mucosa. Its total blood volume is 5 to 6 liters. It is almost 8% of total body weights. That's why our body weight is depends on our blood volume. Now it is 80 ml per body weight. Now in case of females it is less, it is 4 to 5 liters only. Now here specific gravity, it is having 1050 to 1060 of specific gravity. Viscosity, it is viscous, it is having 4 to 5 times more than the water. Its pH is 7.35 to 7.45. So blood when allowed to stand on setting, it will separate into two components, liquid and solid. Now if you see blood are majorly divided into two parts. One is form elements, which is a solid part, it is almost 45% of our whole quantity of blood, and the remaining 55% is liquid part, it is called as plasma. Plasma is containing lots of solutes which is dissolved or which is added into the plasma. The form elements are nothing but the RBC, means red blood cells, WBC and platelets. Now if you see their numbers, RBC count, so the normal values of RBC is near about 4 to 5 millions per mm cube in case of females, and 4.5 to 5.5 millions per mm cube in case of males. WBC count, it is near about 5 to 10,000 cells per mm cube, and platelet is 1.5 to 4 lakhs per mm cube. It is a normal value for platelets. Now we should able to recall all the normal values. It can be asked into the examination. Now here, how the composition has been done of our blood, that you can see here. So almost 8% of other fluid and tissues, it is 8% of our body weights. Now if you see, when you will do the centrifuge of our blood, when you are taking the blood sample and we are keeping it under the centrifuge machine of near about 1000 rpm for 15 minutes, so it will separate into two parts. This is the form element parts, where are almost 99% are nothing but the RBC. So this is the 45% of form elements and this is the 55% of plasma. So out of this 45%, 99% it looks red in color because it is having 99% RBC. That's why it is red in color. And only remaining 1% is WBC and platelets. Now again, if you see in the plasma, it can be divided into 7% for protein, 91% is water, and only 2% is other solutes. Now in case of proteins, it is having the major three proteins, that is albumin, globulin. Albumin is 58%, globulin is 38%, and fibrinogen is 4%. If you will see this fibrinogen, it is the protein which required for our coagulation process. What is coagulation process? When we are doing the process of hemostasis. What is hemostasis? It is the stoppage of blood when any rupture or any cut occurs to our blood vessels, due to which the bleeding occurs, and stoppage of bleeding is nothing but the hemostasis, and in that process the clotting occurs, coagulation occurs. So that clotting is having, that fibrinogen is having a role into the clotting process. It is one of the factor of clotting factor. Globulins, they are having major functions in antibody production, because immunoglobulins are nothing but the globulins. So the globulins are having, they are having role into the development of the antibodies, and this is the albumin. And the other products, for example, the ions, nutrients, waste products, and the gases. Now here in case of the platelets, it is almost 2.5 to 4 lakhs per mm cube, and WBC it is near about 5 to 10,000 per mm cube, and it is 4.2 to 6.2 millions per mm cube. And if you will distribute the WBC for blood cells, it is neutrophils near about 60% to 70%, lymphocytes 20 to 25%, and monocytes 3% to 8%, and the eosinophils it is 2 to 4%, basophils 0.5 to 1%. Now cells, the cellular elements of blood, it is almost 45%, and their packed cell volume or hematocrits. Erythrocytes, it is almost 5 millions per ml, leukocytes 4 to 11,000. So in various books, various different figures are has been given, and platelets 1.5 to 4 lakhs per mm cube. Plasma. Plasma is the clear straw colored fluid. Whenever we are separating the plasma, so plasma contains the antibodies. That's why in plasma therapy, in COVID condition, we have given this plasma. That straw or slightly white colored or transparent color or liquid, it is called plasma. It is almost 55% of our total blood volume. So in which, if you will see, 91% is the water and 9% is the solid. Now in this 95% water, it is a liquid portion of our blood, and its function is to work as a solvent and suspending medium, and it absorbs, transports, and releases the heat. Because our blood are also doing the function of homeostasis, maintenance of the temperature. So if heat condition is there, so that absorb the heats and keeping the cooling sensation to our blood. And in case of winter season, it doing the exactly opposite condition. The plasma proteins, it is also having the 7% of total volume, and the other solids, it is almost 9% of other solids are there, in which 1% inorganic solids are there. For example, sodium ions, calcium ions, chloride ions, bicarbonate ions, the potassiums, magnesium, copper, and phosphates. So these are the various electrolytes which help maintain osmotic pressure and the essential roles in the cell functions. There are almost 8% of organic volumes and 7% of plasma proteins. So most proteins are produced by the liver cells. These proteins are produced by the liver cells, and these proteins are responsible for the colloid osmotic pressures and major contributors to the blood viscosity, and transport the hormones. For example, steroidal hormones. For example, the hormones like testosterone, estrogen, ACTH, thyroid hormone. So these are the hormones which can be transported through this protein, and also fatty acids and calcium, and they help regulate the blood pH. So hormones are basically released into the blood. Means in case of the endocrine, the pituitary gland is going to be secrete at one place and its release will occur at different place. For example, if suppose LH or FSH will secrete into our pituitary gland, what do you want? We want the hormone like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. So that will be secreted at our genita, at our respective genita like ovaries or testes. So secretion and its release is at different places. So it happens, it is possible only due to the blood. Now in case of this plasma, if you will see, plasma proteins are 6.4 to 8.3 grams. So they are 55% are albumins, 38% is globulin. Now in case of albumin, if you will see, they are smallest and most numerous in proteins. And if you see the globulins, they are having major functions in the development of our immunoglobulin. They are 38% and they are 3 to 5 gram per dl. They are large proteins and they are plasma cell produce immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins are help to attack viruses and bacteria. Alpha and beta globulins transport iron, lipid, and fat soluble vitamins. Their major function is to kill the bacteria, viruses, means to kill the pathogens which are coming from the external sources. Fibrinogen, it is 0.3 gram per dl. This fibrinogen is large protein and they plays essential role into the blood clotting, because I told that it is one of the clotting factor, fibrinogen. This fibrinogen will get converted into the fibrin. And what is fibrin? Fibrin is the insoluble form of protein and it is responsible for formation of clot, formation of that fiber. Fibrin is nothing but the fiber. In the practical of clotting also, when you are breaking the capillaries, so whatever the blood is going to be clot, means it produces one thread-like structure, and that thread-like structure is produced only due to the fibrin. And what is fibrin? Fibrin is this fibrinogen is get converted into the fibrin in the presence of calcium. Now next is prothrombin. Its value is 40 mg per dl. So in this fashion, the various types of proteins are available into our plasma. Non-protein nitrogenous substances. So it is 28.4 mg per dl, their concentrations. Now derivatives of food and also waste products of tissue catabolism, because our blood is also doing major functions of transportation of waste products and to throw that waste products throughout the body, because waste products are also very important to throw outside because they can produce the toxic effects in our body. So for that we should throw it outside. The derivatives of food and also waste products of tissue catabolism includes urea, it is 20 to 40 mg per dl. Uric acid, it is 2 to 4 mg per dl. Creatinine, it is 1 to 2 mg per dl. Creatine, it is 0.6 to 1.2 mg per dl. Xanthine, it is stress element. Hypoxanthine, again it is stress elements. So these are the various values which should be under the control. If any value will be increase or decrease, it will produce a problem to our body. The other substances, for example, neutral fats, it is almost 30 to 150 mg per dl. Phospholipids, phospholipid also one of the element which requires for development of our lipid bilayer. It is 150 to 300 mg per dl. Glucose, it is 70 to 90 mg per dl. It is the normal value of glucose. If it crosses 100 means there may be the chances of diabetes. That's why the people who are having diabetes, they may always complain regarding their glucose level. So we have to control our glucose level. Why glucose is required? Glucose is required for our functioning, for our ATP molecule generation. The glucose is required to do our function because energy can be provided by this glucose only. Cholesterol, it is 120 to 200 mg per dl. So cholesterol also going to be breakdown and can be developed into the glucose molecule whenever it is required. So cholesterol is also giving energy, is giving heat to our body. And if you see the other elements like this urea or uric acid, they are also having certain functions. For example, there are the gases. For example, gases oxygen. So oxygen is important in many cellular functions. There are also gases like carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is involved into the regulation of blood pH. Nitrogen also another gas. That gas is required for unknown functions. There are also various enzymes which are involved. They are available into our body. They are catalyzes the chemical reactions. Hormones are regulating metabolism, growth and developments. Vitamins, they are cofactor for enzymatic reactions. We are also having various waste products like urea, uric acid, and we discussed. So there most are breakdown products of protein metabolism that are carried by the blood to the organs of excretions. And in this, again one element is there, it is called bilirubin. Bilirubin also there, it is going to be available into our blood, and it can be again get converted into the another form and it will throw out from our body because RBC when it break down it produces the biliverdin, and from biliverdin it will get converted to the yellow colored bilirubin, and after that bilirubin can be thrown outside. Now various functions of blood that we will see one by one. So in that first function is there, it is called respiratory. So in respiratory, the transportation of oxygen from lungs to the tissue and carbon dioxide from tissue to the lungs is constantly this transportation occurs, means it take down that CO2 from all of the body parts and it exchange that CO2 with oxygen in the alveolar cells. Constantly the purification of process occurs in our body. Your oxygenation work will be carried out into our lungs in alveolar cells, and the pumping work means it works as a pump. It is our natural pumping machine, motor machine of our body is our heart. When heart won't able to do its work properly, in that condition our blood won't able to reach at respective places. The contraction of your heart, it depends on our blood pressure, means if blood pressure is normal means normally your heart will pump. If blood pressure is more means there will be more burden on your heart to pump the blood. So that's why the normal blood pressure will be 120 by 80. 120 is the systolic blood pressure and 80 will be the diastolic blood pressure. So it is a normal blood pressure through which your blood your blood should be reached to your respective places. Now nutritive functions, the transport transports of absorbed food material. So whatever food material we are taking through our mouth, it will go into your small intestine, and through that small intestine it can be absorbed into our systemic blood circulation, and it will go into your blood, and again through blood it will go to your liver, and through liver it will go for our metabolism process, and after metabolism it will go to again your blood, and it will require whatever quantity of that food or that uh, glucose or carbohydrate or lipid or whatever medicine which has been absorbed through our small intestine, it will be reach to your respective places. It will show its action. For example, you have taken any painkiller, if you have any pain, so that paracetamol will be reached to your respective place to relieve the pain, or to relieve your temperature, or to do its functions of anti-inflammatory. So whatever actions is, it can be shown by the typical drug or food whatever material is there. Also amino acids, it can be transported from one place to another place. Amino acids are required for the various functions, for development of the muscles, for production of various enzymes, various hormones. Also it is required in case of the development of our cell wall. Next is fatty acids. They are also required for development of our various nerves. It also requires for development of our various hormones, enzymes, vitamins, etc. From the alimentary canal to the tissues, from mouth to our anus, that whole canal is called as alimentary canal, and it is also called as gastrointestinal tract. So through our alimentary canal, either from mouth to our anus, so whatever material is available into that area, it can be constantly absorbed by our body, and it will go, or it will transfer into the blood through the blood capillaries. It also having the excretory function, means transportation of metabolic waste to the kidney. Means whatever the metabolism occurs in our liver, means the drug is going to be uh, fragmented or catabolized into several parts, and after that it will go into our kidney. Means whatever things, whatever food we are eating, it can be metabolized into our liver. Liver is the major source of metabolism, and after metabolism that waste material will be thrown out through our kidneys. Kidney is the major excretory agent, excretory organ of our body. And also skin, through skin also certain drugs will be excreted. And also there are certain elements, for example alcohol, it can be excreted through our lungs also. That's why when any person have taken the liquor or alcohol, he may breathe the smell of alcohol through the nasal cavity. Intestine for the other removal, and intestine also will do the removal of that food or whatever material we have ingested. Next function is regulation of body temperature. Blood preserves the very narrow range in body temperature with the help of water. Since water has high specific heat, so the buffer solution, it reaches the sudden change into the pH in the body temperature. So what is the role of buffer? Buffer is avoiding to sudden change into the pH, so it is maintaining the change. Means we are adding some acidic material or basic material, so there won't be any effect into our blood pH because buffers are there. After that, the high conductivity, which helps to take out heat from the organ, for uniform distribution throughout the body. Our blood is maintaining the major function of homeostasis. It is going to maintain either pH or it is maintaining our temperature. So by high conductivity and by specific heat, so it is maintaining our body temperature as well as our pH. Chemical for communication and protection. So concentration of hormones and various substances in blood is regulated throughout feedback mechanisms. We are having several feedback mechanisms that already we have discussed in the first unit. Defensive actions against infections, because whatever the pathogens, they can be incorporated in our body, so they can be killed with the help of the blood, because blood contains the first line defense, WBC, so it will kill that bacteria, viruses. Initiation of inflammations, because it also contains the inflammatory agents, so they are initiating the inflammation. And regulation of hemostasis. What is hemostasis? It is the process of maintenance of our bleeding, stoppage of bleeding process. That is nothing but the hemostasis. Plasma protein functions. It exerts the osmotic pressure which influences the exchange of fluid between blood and tissues. It acts as a reservoir of protein. Blood also having the major function of reservoir of proteins. It stores the protein into the body. It combines with many substances such as iron, thyroxine, steroid hormones to form transportable complexes from which the active components are released. So in this fashion, we have discussed this topic of composition of blood. In the next lecture, we will start from the topic plasma proteins. So up to this, we have covered. Again, I will recap on the various things. For example, the functions of blood. So bloods are having functions of transportation of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, hormones, heats and waste. The second function is regulation of pH, body temperature and water content of the cells. Third function is to do the protect against blood loss through clotting and against disease through phagocytic white blood cells and proteins such as antibodies, interferons and complements. Means it is doing the complement binding with the bacteria or viruses. It do the process of phagocytosis. It is a complement binding with the pathogen. Again, if you see the composition, it is having two parts. One is liquid part and another is solid part. Liquid part, it is having plasma, it is 55%, and the solid part, it is the form elements, it is 45%. We are having the form elements like RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC, they are having near about 4.5 to 5.5 millions per mm cube, WBC 5 to 10,000 per mm cube and platelets 1.5 to 4 lakhs per mm cube. The WBC are having two types: agranular leukocytes, for example neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils, and B agranular leukocytes, means they don't have any granules, and the type is B T or B lymphocytes and natural killer cells, and the second is monocytes. These monocytes also get converted into the macrophages, and macrophages are having great role into the engulfing of pathogens, means bacteria and viruses. Again, we have discussed the hematology. It is a branch of the blood and their DCS, and also we have discussed regarding the composition of blood. In that we will discuss regarding the various elements, for example water, plasma proteins like albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and other solutes and regulated substances, and the waste products. So students, in this fashion we have discussed this point. It is very important topic. If you have any queries regarding this, you can ask me. Okay, thanks a lot, and have a nice day.